Want to say a very good evening to everyone joining me here live this evening. Welcome to a next episode of Helping Hands. Tonight, my topic is My topic is no address. And that would be my topic for this evening. Just want to welcome you joining me again tonight, this wonderful evening with Helping Hands. I am Lady C. All right, so tonight's topic, as I said last week, I'll be sharing different stories, experiences I've had. And this is in line with Helping Hands and the reason behind the ministry. um, so I'm going to go off with this story when I was a teenager and in high school. And I really hope that this story will encourage someone. I want to encourage you, go ahead and like this video, share with your friends, somebody who you think needs to hear this story, invite them to join the live. So go ahead, I'm giving you a minute to invite somebody to join this live this evening. Share it in your church groups, share it in your work groups, school, with friends, and your family group. So, we're going to talk tonight about that story, my experience, and that's the reason behind the theme this evening, no address. Keep sharing, and keep liking. Remember also to subscribe to the channel. Each week, we will have a very intriguing episode, different stories of different persons, their experiences, and how they overcame. And this is to encourage persons who are experiencing very difficult time so you understand that life does not remain the same. In some instances, whereas some of our decisions. And when we change our decisions, we change the outcome of life. Okay, so my story here tonight, no address. So back in the days when I was in high school, at some point, of course, our family fell on very hard times. As I said before, my father, his job downsized and he lost his job, and we went through difficulty for, many years, many years. So I remember I was going to Holy Child High School, and at the time it was a very prominent, it still is, high school, girls' school in Kingston. So there was a group of us as friends. It was about five of us who always we took the bus together. We walked together. We had lunch together. If we came early, we would go to the canteen together. Those were fun days. You go to the canteen early to get your lunch ticket, or you go early and you have breakfast. So I remember the girls often visited each other. I never usually visit because my dad was strict. So going to a friend's house and stuff like that was not something we were allowed to do. Anyways, everyone knew where everyone lived because they invited each other over and they got to see it. Now, understand, back then, when I was attending, you had a lot of wealthy girls attending Holy Childhood. I was, I think, the least fortunate in my group. At the time, the girls didn't know because I did not discuss anything about my personal life. So we were really just friends, good friends. I remember one evening, by this time in our life, we were living in Callaloo Bed. That's what it was called at the time. I remember when we learned that we had to go there. It was a very difficult period. And when we learned we had to go there, I really cried. I remember I cried. And thinking back now as an adult, I'm just thinking how difficult it must have been for my parents then because I was crying. All right. Try to understand that when you live, it's a community with no address. No address. So if we did not receive mail over there, we had no address. You went to school, you went to work, you could not use that address because there is no address. Anyways, so one evening coming over, Please remember, come on, like this video, like, share, subscribe to the channel, share with someone if you want them to hear this intriguing story. So when we usually, when I'm going home, we would take the bus and I would go into Corville Gardens and walk through Corville Gardens through the hole because there's a hole between, there's a hole in the wall at the time. I don't know, what's the setup now. I guess it might still be the same between Bed and Corville Gardens. So we would walk. I came off the bus out by the plaza, walked all the way through Corville, and then went down through the hole and went over to Bed. Oh my God. That evening, I remember I came off the bus with one of my friends because she lived in Corville. And for some reason, she decided that evening that she needed to know where I live. And she was like, I mean, we know where everybody else live. We go to each other's house. Nobody know where you live. I have to see where she was like, I have to see where you live today. I have to see where you live so I can tell the other girls, no man, it can't be that nobody don't come to your house. And she went on, and I tell you, that evening I walked around Corville, around and around. I could not shake her, and she realized I was trying not to take her to where I live. I guess because she realized she was just most determined that evening that she was going to see where I live because she was going back to school to tell the girls where I was living. And I tell you, she walked with me for about 2 hours in Corville and would not turn around. And I was so embarrassed. I did not know how to tell her that's where I was living at the time, and she came with me over there. When she got to the hole, she was afraid. She didn't want to come over there, so she stopped right at the entrance of the hole. And that young girl, she encouraged me that evening. And the following day, she went back to school. She did not share that with the rest of the girls there. I want to speak to somebody today because let me tell you, you might not understand, but back then, now a lot of cosmetic work has been done in the area because of Operation Pride. Because at some point they came in, they knocked down the fences, the zinc fence, and those fences we used, like the metal barrels to straighten them out and build those fences. They knocked down the fences. There was a lot of board structure. They got rid of a lot of it and built concrete structures, sold the land to the people. So the cosmetics is way different. Back then in the days, we had pit toilet that I didn't want my friends to know that. It was very difficult and very, very embarrassing for me to say the least at the time. And I want to say to somebody, sometimes life circumstances embarrass you or embarrass us. I want to say, remember that life does not remain the same. There are many, many great people who have come out of the inner cities. Many of our athletes, many of our entertainers, many lawyers and doctors had sometimes no address, or they lived in communities they were not proud to tell their co-workers. I remember when my husband back then had gotten into the fire brigade, he could not use that address because we had no address. So we had to use an address for a church sister in Corville Gardens. Sometimes life situation may cause you great embarrassment. Sometimes life situation may cause you great shame. But I want to say to somebody who might be living in shame and pain that life does not remain the same. You might be hiding, I was hiding. I was hiding where I was living from my friends. I did not want to be teased at school. And of course, as I said, a lot of the girls were, middle class, upper class, and but just not in my situation, even if they were not middle class. So sometimes we find ourselves hiding. Sometimes we might be hiding from friends. You might be hiding from classmates because you're like, where I am now, and I see where they have reached, And you might be at a place in life that you are hiding. You might be hiding where you're living. You might be hiding your circumstances. You might find that you have some kind of ailment and you are hiding because you are embarrassed. But it doesn't matter what situation you are faced with and that you might be embarrassed about. I want to encourage somebody that, as I said earlier, we are, and not in all cases, I do understand that, we are the sum of our decisions. I want to leave a little tip, some tips at the end as I go uh, further along. But before I do that, I want to leave two quotes with you from Mother Teresa. And one says, if you can't feed, and this is what Helping Hands is about, if you can't feed 100 people, then feed one. You never know what you're doing just to one person by feeding them. You might not be able to give physical food, but a word of encouragement. That evening, when my friend turned around to encourage me, it was really good. It was a word that was spoken in due season. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. Unfortunately, sometimes people are judged by where they live, by the things they wear, by the things they can afford or not afford. And it's painful sometimes to be living in poverty because remember, what is poverty? It's the lack of basic necessity: food, clothes, shelter, a place to live. Now, last week I gave away some percolators in relation to my percolator story. And if you did not yet hear it, please go visit over the channel. You'll see the video from last week's episode, the percolator story. This week, I'm going to be giving away an electric can opener. Okay, I'm going to be giving away an electric can opener. And this is what you have to do. I want you to share in the comment section your own story. Have you ever had to, Jamaicans call it, catch with somebody and you were uncomfortable? You were embarrassed by your situation? What difficult life circumstance did you find yourself in that left you feeling terribly embarrassed about life? Drop it in the comment section. You might be encouraging somebody and speaking life to them. I want to remind you also of the Helping Hands Ministry. On the 27th of this month, we will be having our pop up food bank. And we spoke about that last week as well. The pop up food bank, we will be popping up in a community unannounced, and we're going to be distributing 100 grocery bags, sharing love with the people in that community. So I'm inviting you to partner with us. With the Helping Hands Ministry. You can partner by calling and partner with donating cash or kind. It could be, remember, we distribute sanitary napkins to young girls in primary schools and high schools in the corporate area. This week, somebody reached out to ask if they could donate tampons as well, and my answer was yes. So sanitary napkins or tampons. You can donate cash, as I said, or kind. It could be a bag of rice. Call Kadeen at 876-433-2526. Again, Kadeen Barrett at 876-433-2526. So if you'd like to donate locally, or if you would like to volunteer, we're still seeking volunteers for the pop-up food bank. If you are living overseas and you would like to donate, you can do so via Cash App at SincerelyCLG. So Cash App is SincerelyCLG, or by PayPal at clgtried@gmail.com. That's PayPal at clgtried@gmail.com. Remember, volunteers are always needed for our pop-up food bank. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. Let us not judge people by where they live, by the things they can afford, or the things that they cannot afford. Remember to like this video. Please share it with someone who needs the encouragement. If you'd like to share your own story, Feel free to drop it in the comment section. Share with us one of your story that caused you great shame or embarrassment because of lack, and encourage somebody as they look on. Now, for the quick tips. I have said before that sometimes we have experiences and it's based on the decisions that we make. We're the sum of our decisions. I want to encourage somebody. There are little things that we can do, like changing our habits. It will not make us rich, but at least we can start saving. So, guess what? Just look at the spending that you do every week. It may be on credit, it may be on junk food, and maybe you can decide, okay, I'm going to eat less of this. I'm going to buy food more in bulk, and then instead of buying a lot of fast food or snacks, you save money. Another thing, you may purchase way more credit than you need per week. You can decide, okay, I'm going to purchase less. Usually I do 500 per week. I'm going to purchase 300 and I'm going to save 200 from now every week until December. If you're a smoker and you probably do a pack of cigarette per day, maybe you can decide I'm going to do half pack of cigarette or none at all. And I'm going to save that money every day right back until the end of December. Also, it might not be money, it might be your time. How do you invest your time in yourself wisely? A lot of young people on social media around the clock. One of the things you could do, or as an adult, is deciding, your phones tell you how much time you spend online per week, per day. You can decide, okay, my phone says I spend 13 hours online every week. I'm going to cut that to 10 hours and I'm going to invest that 3 hours in self-development. So I'm going to be watching more videos or joining groups that teach me how to save, how to build my finances. If you're in the US, how to build my credit, or you might be in the UK, it could be how to build your credit and become financially independent and stable. So there are some little ways that we can make changes. I know that life circumstances sometimes cause you to find yourself in situations unexpected. It could be sickness, and a lot of people get really broke because of sickness because it's costly to treat a lot of these chronic diseases. It could be a recession, it could be the pandemic. So many persons have lost their jobs since the pandemic. And then if you were living a certain kind of way, you can't pay the mortgage anymore, you can't pay the bill anymore. God forbid you lose the house, you're now homeless. You lose your job because they downsized or because you got fired. So many, many situations sometimes in life that we didn't even plan for cause people to find themselves living in poverty. I just want to encourage you, if you are that person going through an extremely difficult time, just remember life changes. It will not be the same every day. Make better decisions as well as also try to find positive things to read or to watch to reinforce positive thoughts in your mind. A lot of people with bad life experiences become deeply depressed, and some have even become suicidal. I would really love to encourage someone today. Listen to a lot of motivational video, music, spend a little time in the sun. And these are ways that you can help to keep your mood uh, a happier mood, until life really changes for you. Until next week, until next time, please join us again, same place, same time, with Helping Hands JATV. I am Lady C. Please like, share this video, and also remember to subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful evening.